Five-star and number 2 running back in the nation, Emmanuel Henderson, has just committed to the University of Alabama, and we need to talk about this importance because it has just vaulted Alabama to a top 15 class. But before we do, as always, y'all know the drill. I want to hear from y'all. So hop down to the comments and give me a Y for yes or an N for no. Are you surprised that Emmanuel Henderson picked Alabama? And let me know what you're thinking. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe because I have a bunch of content coming out. For instance, tomorrow we're going to be taking a look at the position preview for the University of Alabama for the offensive line. You don't want to miss that. And I'm on my push to 5,000 subscribers in my first year, and I'd love to have you along for the journey because I can't do it without y'all. And if you did enjoy this video, be sure to like and comment down below because that really does help content creators like myself get picked up by the YouTube algorithm. But with all that being said, let's talk about Emmanuel Henderson. And if you remember back to the Ty Simpson video and we talked about the importance of the new recruiters coming in and landing a 5-star, now we can talk about Robert Gillespie, the running back coach that came to the University of Alabama from North Carolina. And remember, this was a hire that I was really high on, and even to this day, I think it's one of the best hires Alabama has made in the offseason. Because when you look at the running backs he just worked with, recruits are going to be very excited at the prospect of working with this guy. Now you add into the fact that Robert Gillespie, who's a good recruiter, who is a very solid running back coach, now gets to recruit and coach under the brand of the University of Alabama, and the skies are really endless. When you lose who Alabama lost at running back coach, you gotta replace him with someone solid, and Gillespie is someone very solid. I'm very high on this hire, and this is a big reason why. And make no mistake, Alabama was always in a good position for Emmanuel Henderson, but this wasn't a shored up commitment by any stretch of the imagination, and I know that it can seem that way. Auburn was able to retain Cadillac Williams, who Emmanuel Henderson has talked to, that he is very close to, and that he has great relationships with. And then Georgia came on very strong. And Georgia is a very hard university to recruit against, specifically at the running back position, because they, Alabama, Wisconsin, there's all these universities that can really argue for that running back you mantra. Hard to recruit against those institutions, and Alabama found themselves in a direct head-to-head battle with Georgia. The thing that's so important about Alabama winning this commitment over a Georgia, and even in Auburn, because Auburn and Alabama are more in analogous situations where even though Auburn has to replace the head coach, Alabama has a complete coaching overhaul aside from Nick Saban, but it is Saban, we've seen him do it. Georgia has much more continuity, and that's why this was a huge win, because my Bama fans, my SEC fans, you know it's never easy recruiting against Georgia. They can recruit with the best of them, and they always sign great classes. So keeping a guy in the state of Alabama from leaving it specifically to Georgia is a huge win, and you know Nick Saban and company are going to be very happy about this. So aside from it being such a big win for not only the University of Alabama in their pursuit of another number 1 signing class, because this vaults them into the top 15, and it's interesting that you have a 5-star signal caller and a 5-star running back now, and you're already really trending up for a guy like Devin Campbell, the 5-star number 1 guard in the nation out of Texas. They're having great communication with. A guy like him can look at this class and see the classes Alabama just brought in, because I've heard that he's very intrigued at the prospect of playing with the Brockermeyers, with J.C. Latham, with Ferguson. They think they could have something special there, and they'd absolutely have something special. But now you look, and not only you look at Bryce Young, you have another 5-star signal caller. I'm sorry, you can see how excited as an Alabama fan I am. My goodness. You have Bryce Young there. You have another 5-star signal caller behind him. And then you look at your running back room, and it's 5-star, 5-star, 5-star. Because Alabama's once again in the running for next year's 5-star running back, Richard Young. This is an incredibly intriguing prospecting Alabama is doing right now, because I think this class will be a little bit smaller. I mean, you know, we say that, and then depending on how transfers, depending on how many players exit for the draft next year, this could be a typical Alabama class around 25, 27, but it could also be a class that's around 22, 24, and if that's the case, expect to see this Crimson Tide staff be very selective. And it kind of makes sense with how they're recruiting right now, because there's so many unknowns about this crop of recruits because of COVID-19. That being said, this is a very fruitful class, and it's good to see Alabama making up room. But what do they get in Emmanuel Henderson? We've talked about why this is so important, winning over Georgia, winning over Auburn, especially Auburn being your in-state rival. You don't want Harsin to get a fast start, and make no mistake, even if Auburn and Harsin got Emmanuel Henderson, it wouldn't change the dichotomy within the SEC that Alabama really does run it right now. But it would certainly help them. You remember I said with the Dylan Brooks, the Dylan Brooks commitment to Auburn and them getting him isn't going to move the needle, but you do have to have building blocks to your program, and Dylan Brooks is a good building block. Well, so is Emmanuel Henderson, unless you're Alabama and that program's already built and you can just unleash him. So what is Alabama actually getting in Emmanuel Henderson? Well, if you watch his tape, I mean, he's a guy who will remind you a lot of like almost a Leonard Fournette in high school. Big guy, strong guy, agile guy. He possesses a lot of quickness to him. He's a really intriguing running back, and I can't wait to see how he continues to evolve, because if you look at his sophomore season to his junior season, and I can't wait to see what he looks like in his senior season, there's been a linear evolution within his game every single year. And it was, at first, he was such a straight power back and you couldn't contain him. And he's gotten so much more refined as time has gone on, and I'm really looking for his senior year to put that finishing touches on his refinement. This is a very special player, and this is a very big deal for the University of Alabama, because now they are one of the institutions in the recruiting cycle that has more than one 5-star. As all of you know, I don't have to tell you, there is a legitimate equation that goes into predicting whether or not teams can get into the college football playoff, and it's how many blue chip guys you have. Now, Alabama's certainly not worried about this. They have so many blue chips on roster, but you have to be able to continue it. And it's good to see in a year such as this, where a lot of these recruits are going to be wanting to take their time because of the lack of visits, that Alabama's already off to a decently fast start, nabbing guys they're really after, nabbing a tight end, a linebacker, and then 2 5-stars. They might be more selective in this class, but it's Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide, and their selectivity is going to be great, and they just got another phenomenal running back. This dude is a bruiser, this dude has got great agility, and this dude is going to be a problem on the next level. But look for him, look for Ty Simpson to get in guys such as Devin Campbell and Evan Stewart, who just decommitted from Texas, who I have news for all of y'all. He's my number 2 receiver in the nation. In all of high school football, in my opinion, he is the second best receiver in all of high school football. There are guys that can do what he can do, but there's very few guys to me that do it as well as he does it. Very hard to replicate. When you have Ty Simpson, a 5-star signal caller, and then a 5-star running back, and then you look at all the 5-star offensive linemen that Alabama has, what pitch do they get to use to Evan Stewart now to tell him, come on over? Sure, Malik Murphy might be able to tell him we're building something. Alabama, Ty Simpson, Emmanuel Henderson, they can tell Evan Stewart, Devin Campbell, we're built. Come plug and play and get this money in the NFL draft, because you know where that's going to lead us. I cannot wait to see what y'all are thinking. I am super hyped on this recruit, because for those of you that know, I'm really big on Emmanuel Henderson, and as much as he's going to help the Crimson Tide, watch for this to be the snowball effect in the recruiting class, and let's start paying attention to the conversations around this class, especially at the recruit level. I'm really interested to see how this will affect guys such as Devin Campbell, even a Denver Harris, though he doesn't play offense. When you get some 5-stars on, it makes it much more enticing for other 5-stars. I'm very interested to see how this will snowball into more recruits, and I'm really looking at Devin Campbell and Evan Stewart to see what they do next, and I can't wait to hear from y'all. Y'all already know the drill. Hop down in the comments. Let me know what you think about this, because the University of Alabama is going to be surging to the number 1 class again. That's what their goal is, and you already know Nick Saban and them. To count him out is to be foolish. So we cannot count him out in his pursuit of another number 1 recruiting class, because that's just what he does. Can't wait to hear from y'all. Hop down in the comments, let me know what you're thinking, and we'll see you tomorrow when we talk about the position preview for the offensive line for the University of Alabama. You do not want to miss that, so be sure to subscribe to the channel. That's it. See ya.